Right, welcome back, guys. So we've looked at all the classes now. We've got them all out of the way. We've done warrior, priest, shaman, druid, warlock, blah, 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 everything. We've looked at all of them and what they bring to a raid. So now we're going to take all of that information and we're going to look at what class is right for you. What class should you play in TBC? If you noticed, I said we are going to talk to you, not I'm going to talk to you. So actually joined by a special guest today. When I say special guest, he's going to be a recurring guest. He's going to start getting involved in some of these TBC videos because he's no life in it as much as me. So, who I would like to introduce is it's actually my brother Stu, or as those who watch the stream will know him as Lucky Twat. So, all right, Stu.
All right.
What are you doing?
I thought you said get dressed up.
I meant just put clothes on. I didn't mean get in character.
Oh, I'm glad you actually said that because this is really hot. Or shall I just do it like this now?
No. Preferably get your Darth Vader costume off because I don't really want to be sued by Disney for copyright.
Oh, okay. I'll come as Princess Leia next time.
Nobody wants to see that. How's it going?
Oh, all right, you?
Yeah, not bad. All right, so we'll crack straight on. So obviously, the whole point of this conversation for those who are watching is to try and find the best class for you in TBC and give a little brief rundown of all the classes. We're not going to dig into great detail. If you want the detail, you can watch the previous videos, and I'll put a link up there. But for this, we're just going to have a brief overview of what would be the best class that suits you and the way you want to play. So I'm gonna sort of hand over a bit to you, Stu. We'll start with warrior. And we're gonna have to try and keep track as we go along because should have probably wrote this down as in made sure that we do cover them all. We'll just have to hope for the best. But yeah, we'll start with warrior.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on warrior? You know, as in what sort of person would want to play a warrior? Are they viable? Are they good in raids?
Yep. So warrior. Obviously they're very very solid tanks. DPS wise, very very viable. They're good DPS, aren't they? At the end of the day, they are very good DPS with gear. I suppose they are gear orientated. Yeah.
Well, weapons, very weapon dependent, definitely.
Weapon dependent, yeah.
Probably going to have a harder time getting into raids, than the likes of Hunter and stuff, obviously, but. You know, their damage is just it is lower, but you know it's a ranged expansion, isn't it? That's the thing.
Yeah, it is by the looks of it. Yeah, it is very much. Well, especially this part. I don't know about the sort of deeper the deeper as you start going in the deeper raids. Is that still the same?
Yeah, these the melee start to catch up. I would say, but ultimately still ranged are just all the boss fights are just more ranged friendly. That's the bottom line. But when you're talking about like rogues starting to get Warglades of Azanov and stuff like that, then all of a sudden the tides do shift a little bit, I would say.
Yeah,
but you still wouldn't want to stack melee like you do in Classic. That's my opinion.
Mm. So, well, I mean, sort of like the playing style. Obviously, from tanking. Obviously, when we leveled the tanks recently. The warriors recently, rather, they've got a lot of abilities, haven't they? They've got a massive old toolkit.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's one of those. It'd be for someone that likes a lot more to do. Because they've got a lot of interesting abilities. For me, doesn't really interest me much, but yeah, it would suit someone that, especially if they want to be a solid tank. Let's face it. Warrior is a good option.
But like the contrasting difference between us is you want an easy ride on whatever you play. I don't. I want a bit more to
Absolutely.
do. I want a rewarding rotation. Where one thing goes wrong, your damage goes down the drain. Whereas like when you start to perfect your rotation on that, I mean that's why I play Feral DPS at the end of the day because it's one of the most challenging rotations in the game. And has and always I'd say always will be, maybe not particularly in BFA, but that's a different story. I think for warriors Yeah, they're in I would say, reasonably good place. The thing is, we're going to be inundated with warriors when Classic goes to TBC because every man and their dog reroll warrior because of how much damage they do in Classic and how much we melee stack in Classic. But going into TBC, when that reverses completely, I think we're going to have lots of warriors struggling to find raids.
Unless they're tanks.
Unless they're tanks, exactly. And even then, a guild only needs so many tanks.
Well, yeah. But yeah, as you say, yeah, DPS wise, if they are inundated, I think they will struggle. But still, from you're still going to get people taking all sorts, aren't you?
Yeah. As people are gonna, have a spot in their raid, if their guild knows that they're a solid player and they, can perform at raid mechanics, even if they do a little bit less damage as a warrior. We take a warrior regularly, don't we? Warrior, obviously, we take him regularly. He does well.
Yeah.
He's very middle of the pack, never topping meters really. But it's very difficult to beat the likes of hunters and warlocks. But, ultimately, warriors are in a reasonable place. I would say if you're a tank, you're going to have no issues getting in raids as a tank. If you're DPS, you may be pushed aside. Again, just my opinion, but I think you may be pushed aside for the likes of hunters, elemental shamans, warlocks, even mages, where, if you're trying to get in a pug, you'll find that they might only want one melee maximum. And they might just want to take an enhancement shaman, something that brings heroism, or maybe a feral druid, something that can potentially off tank and DPS. I mean, the pure DPS sort of warrior and rogue are going to have an harder time getting in 10-man. 25, yeah, you're going to have your place in 25, but for 10-man could struggle. So ultimately, if you're thinking about going warrior in TBC, you might want to think about that. You might want to think about the difficulties of getting into raids without being a tank.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, that is, it's our opinion or your opinion on that bit.
Yeah.
Certainly, but they are viable, good. It's actually still a good, strong class, and it's a good, solid class. But yeah, as you say, you just might be limited.
Fun to play, and they're great in PvP as well. If PvP's your thing, warriors are always going to be, one of the top dogs in PvP.
Yeah, especially with someone who's got your back healing you.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so warrior. So we'll move on from warrior. Let's go priest. So priest. I'll start with priest purely because I'm playing one. So
yeah,
you're going to be wanted. I feel that shadow priests are going to be wanted more than holy priests, even though holy priests, in my opinion, are the best throughput healers and can react to a lot of different situations better than the other healers. But at the same time, you don't really bring that much in the grand scheme of things. As in, improved divine spirit's very nice. But you're not. If you could take a resto shaman who's going to be able to keep everyone alive just as easy as your geared holy priest, the difference now is you've got heroism in the group and you've got totems that are bringing so much more. But if you want to get the, prayer of fortitude, prayer of shadow protection, that sort of thing, obviously you'd get it from a shadow priest. So you're getting the shadow priest benefits of being able to get mana back and that passive healing, but also then getting heroism and totems. So I think even in 10-man priests may be pushed aside slightly. You'll definitely want one in 25-man to get improved divine spirit. But I think unless you're an exceptional holy priest, if these super hardcore guilds who are really like going for the best possible composition in 10-man, you might not be the optimal healer to take. But shadow, well, yeah, Stu, thoughts on shadow? I mean, every man and their dog's going to want a shadow priest.
Well, yeah, of course. For the the mana regen, it's just lovely. But what about the actual, the gameplay? Is it, for me, would I like it on the basis that we know that I'm a lazy raider? Would I like it?
I don't think so. I don't think. Well, what are we talking? Shadow or holy?
Well, shadow now.
Shadow. Yeah, maybe not. There's a lot to consider when you're playing a shadow priest because your mind flay's got a different range to your dots, for example. So yeah, you know, if you're going to be at max range, you can be at max range for your dots, but then you're not going to be able to mind flay. So you know, you have to understand the fights quite well. So for Prince, for example, if you're stood trying to mind flay when he does enfeeble, you'll probably die.
Yeah,
So
because you've got to keep weaving sort of in and out.
so yeah, I mean, ultimately, yeah, it's dot management. You know, keeping up vampiric touch, keeping up shadow word pain, you know, weaving in mind blasts. You have to be mindful of your own mana as well, because obviously the more damage you do, the more mana you give back to the party. But you also don't want to go home, because then you're going to stop giving mana back to everyone as well.
Yeah.
But so there's a lot of management.
Like a bit more, it's a bit more of an in-depth type of play. Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, you haven't sold it to me.
No, you just want to spam fireball or shadow bolt.
I just want to sit back and press one button.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's not a shadow priest, and obviously certainly not a holy priest. A holy priest, I wouldn't say, is the easier healer to play on. Yeah, it's got a lot more varied healing abilities, but not. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's noob friendly. Was I?
Yeah, but there again, I don't know if that's going to be on the other part, or whether that's just lagging out on Discord. I don't know whether that will show.
Oh no, it won't. It won't show. No, on Discord, because I'm recording directly into Streamlabs.
Yeah. Right. Okay. All right. But you lagged out. I didn't really understand what you said.
What did I get up to?
We were saying that, obviously, it wouldn't be for me because I just want to sit back and just press one button. And then, you lagged out.
Yeah, all right, then I'll go from there. Yeah, so no, it probably won't be. It probably won't be for you. Not if you just wanted to press one button, because there's a lot to manage as shadow, and even more to manage as holy. To be fair, because you've just got so many options of what you can press when in the situation that arises when you're healing.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
So
move on.
Yeah. Let's go on to Rogue.
Rogue?
Yeah, so you played Rogue for a long time. What's your thoughts on them in TBC?
Yeah, they're a nice solid DPS. I think I say solid DPS class for pretty much everything, because they are. If you play a DPS, right, I suppose they are solid, and then it depends on what you want to do in it. It's about how you want to play, your style of play. Rogue, I sort of moved away from melee DPS, but with doing them at the moment, we are leveling rogues, and that will be, you can watch that later if you're interested.
Twitch.tv/ScottyJ87. I was just saying Twitch. Yeah. Twitch.tv/ScottyJ87.
Yes, there you go. Yeah, a good fun solid DPS class. Not too complex, are they? It does suit me really, because again, it's one of these classes where you don't have to do a great deal apart from DPS, and that's what I like. So, if you want to do good DPS, I'm putting raid and things like that aside, to be honest with you, because we all know that they don't bring as much as a lot of the other classes.
Yeah, I mean the main thing there is they're going to do reasonable DPS for little effort, or not as much effort as as a Feral Druid. I'll use a Feral Druid as an example. But they, like you say, they bring nothing. They bring nothing to a raid.
Yeah.
So if you're happy with that, if you're happy with having a lazy rotation and bringing nothing to the raid, being no benefit, which is just going to make it quite challenging for you to get a raid spot, then obviously, by all means, go Rogue. Me and Stu are leveling our Rogues, absolutely loving them. Really looking forward to getting them 70, getting them geared, doing some raiding. But for me, I'm looking forward to PvPing on the Rogue, because I feel like in TBC that's where it sits. Or certainly for Tier 4, that's where it sits. Yeah.
I mean, you would try. Yeah, you would try your best, wouldn't you, to take one if you had a friend that was a Rogue and he'd been in guilds with you for a long time. But
I certainly wouldn't make friends with a Rogue.
Yeah.
That would be the last thing I'd ever do. I can't think of a Rogue that I've ever met that I like.
Oh, that's hurtful, especially as you'll probably listen to this.
Yeah, I know, but never mind. Love you, really, Cabbage. So, all right. So, Rogue, basically, I think what we're saying is Yeah, their usefulness in raids, because they don't really bring a great deal yet, because they haven't got the likes of Smoke Bomb and what's the other one that I always
Not
forget?
much utility.
Tricks of the
Yeah,
Trade.
tricks of the trade.
Yeah,
They
that
ain't
all
got
comes at later times. So, yeah, not a great deal that they bring to the raid, but yeah, it's solid. Interrupter. I would say, I'd say consistent DPS. So it might not be high. Not going to be topping damage meters, but it will be consistently bloody awful.
No, they're all right. Their DPS is good enough.
Yeah, no, it's reasonable. It's reasonable, but
Yeah, all right,
it's still not a
reasonable.
hunter or a warlock.
No, no, but yeah, from sort of ease of play, again, it's something that suits me. That's a class that would suit me if I was thinking, yeah, I want to go melee,
All
for
right.
instance.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Well, we'll leave that there. So we only want a few minutes on each class. So
Yeah,
let's do your two that you play actively at the moment. Let's get those out of the way. So let's go with Mage first. What
yeah.
what are
Well,
your thoughts on Mage?
Mage certainly suits me because you don't. Again, I'm not having to press a million buttons while I'm trying to raid. It's very useful. It brings a lot. Standing there and just scorching 5 times, getting the debuff up, and then yeah, fireball spamming is nice.
Yeah,
And you're going to be
sounds
doing, yeah,
straightforward.
it's good BPS. Yeah, straightforward rotation, very strong DPS. Obviously, brilliant in PvP as well. Um, a
Three
strong
very
Sonic
different
class.
specs
That's
as well. To be fair, if you
yeah,
say it's like three DPS specs, they are all unique. Arcane starts to get really really good in tier 5 when you get your 2 set bonus. And the other Frost Arcane is perfectly viable to raid as. I mean, it's not. Again, I mentioned this in the Mage video a little while ago. It's not what I would play. I think Fire's better personally. I know Fire relies on a bit of crit, but I still think Fire in tier 4 is yeah, in my opinion, better. Sims may question that and say that Frost Arcane's more interesting, but for me, you can't beat the big crits of fireballs.
yeah. I must admit, when I switched to fire, it was nice. It was nice for that. Just the massive crits, and yeah, I think the more gear you get, it just gets better. So yeah, I'm with you on that one. But yeah, so again, I'd say Mage is more a lazy boy class. With regards to you don't have to think too much, do you? Let's face it.
Well, it's
It's
not going to
quite
change much from Classic, is it? At the end of the day, Classic, all they do at the
no,
moment is spam Frostbolt.
yeah,
And soon enough, once they can all go fire, they're going to be spamming Fireball.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, don't take it away from them because they have got to put the Scorch debuff up.
Oh,
So
sorry. So, yeah, but most of them, they'll have like 3 or 4 mages, so there'll only be 1 out of 4 that needs to keep the Scorch up. The rest of them will just be
true that.
spamming Fireball.
We need more mages.
Yeah, because that spamming that Scorch for the first like 8 seconds of the fight must pain you.
It's just throwing my rotation off.
All right, so
Yeah.
Mage is done. So let's move on to Warlock. Yeah, might as well do Warlock next because, as I say, we'll cover the 2 that you're playing most actively.
Yeah. Warlock, I would say not as it's a little bit trickier than Mage. Obviously, it's rewarding. It's a rewarding class. It brings plenty. Definitely fun to level, but I know we're not really talking about leveling, but it's fun to level, fun to grind with, because there's a lot of things that you need to do outside of raids, isn't there? Getting your consumables and things if you're going to farm it as opposed to buy it.
Yeah.
Always a fun class to quest on. Different specs, yeah, totally different specs with the the pet spec, the dot spec, or the one button shadow bolt spec. Yeah, I like it. I
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a big fan of Warlocks. As I say, it's the one DPS class, well, aside from Hunters, which we'll get to soon enough, which I feel is going to get stacked quite heavily in raids. Mainly because, with improved Shadow Bolt, for example, where when you crit, it does 20% more damage for, I think it gets, is it 5 charges? Or 3-4 charges, something like that.
Might be
Or 4.
might be 4. I can't remember.
I don't main a warlock, so yeah, it's
Yeah, me neither. Oh yes, I do.
yeah, you do, yeah. So you should know really. But obviously, the more warlocks you've got, the more uptime on that. So they all literally are just buffing each other as the fight goes on, which is really nice. I think for a warlock is a really sort of a good spec for people who are a bit in between. You say they're easy to play. Yeah, all right. The spec that you're playing at the moment's easy to play, spamming Shadow Bolt. But Affliction, I would say, there's a lot more timing involved of everything. Demonology is probably quite difficult as well because you've got pet management in there as well now. And in PvP, Siphon Life Soul Link spec is just insane.
Yeah. I'm not saying by any stretch of the imagination that Warlock is. It can be. It can be. There are other things to do. It isn't just a case of just pressing the one button. That's what I'm saying. Definitely out of the two, Warlock and Mage, Warlock is a bit. It's sort of middle of the road. It's not quite lazy boy. You're sort of heading away. If you want a little bit more to do, then you go down the Warlock path.
Yeah, so you would say like Rogue is like I don't need a brain to play this class. Then Mage would be similar footing, and then Warlock is slightly more difficult.
Yeah, it gets a little. Personally, that's me. Yeah, that is solely my opinion. Someone else might go, "No, mate, it's so easy. I just hit my head on Shadow Bolt."
Yeah, you've been doing that.
You are.
That's what you've been doing, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. Well, yeah. Now I've gone Destruction. Yeah, it's a lot easier. Keybind
Shadow Bolt to literally everything on the keyboard and just roll your face up and down on it.
I'll just slap the keyboard.
Slap at the base, man. All right, cool. So
Warlock.
So we've done Warrior, Priest, we've done Rogue, we've done Mage, we've done Warlock. So let's do Druid next.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's all you. That's all you, baby.
Yeah, so obviously I've made a Druid for a very, very long time. For those who are new, you might not know. For those who have watched lots of my videos, you know. State of play for each spec. So Boomkin, not great. Decent, brings some good stuff. But, ultimately a very easy class to play. Still has some mana problems. Less mana problems with a Shadow Priest, obviously. Even less if you've got, Blessing of Wisdom and Totems, all that sort of thing. But ultimately, the good thing about having a regular raid in Boomkin, particularly in 25-man, is being able having your melee and range be able to drop 3% hit, and then they can pick up more useful stats. But that does rely on having a regular raid in Boomkin for them to be able to do that. But nevertheless, still worth a mention. The damage they do themselves is actually really high. You can get some good damage as a Boomkin. I'm not saying you're going to be topping damage meters. You'll definitely be beating rogues, but that's not difficult. Anyone would think I hate rogues. I don't hate rogues. I like rogues, and I like playing rogues, but they're just in a bad spot at the moment, I would say.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So yeah, that's Boomkin. Feral DPS, God mode spec, absolutely amazing. Yeah, you're not.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. If you can play, you can perform very well on a Feral DPS. The difficulty will be getting into a guild as a Feral DPS because you really need to prove that you know what you're doing before anyone's even going to entertain you, I feel. But if you do know what you're doing and you're one of these 99 percentile passers in Classic, you're going to have no problem with the rotation in TBC. It's actually slightly easier, I would argue. Bit more interesting, actually, because you start to get to use bleeds, which you'll only use Rip, you won't use Rake unless it's a ridiculously high armoured boss. But, overall, Feral DPS is in a good space because you get to give 5% crit to the rest of the melee as well and, improve leader of the pack, a bit of self-healing for your group. They bring a decent amount. In 10-man, their place is going to be, you're going to be the off-tank. If you're getting to Feral DPS in raids, your raid, unfortunately, is probably doing it wrong. Because, it would be better served to have you DPS in the one tank fights and then tanking the rest and then bring an extra hunter or an extra warlock. But, that's purely subjective, just my views on it. Resto's in a good place.
Yeah.
There'll be guilds that probably have a main feral DPS in every 10-man, but I see the negatives for that.
But complexity of play is
difficult.
So
Well,
it's not
I'd
easy.
say it's probably the
Yeah, it's
most
not easy.
difficult. As feral DPS, I've played every class. I've DPS'd on every class, and I've yet to. I mean, I don't struggle on a feral DPS, but purely because I live and breathe it. But I could see how people struggle. You know, you're relying on macros. 3 or 4 different just macros for cat form. Yeah, that's without any abilities. That's just your cat form will have 3 or 4 different macros. So you definitely need to have, good key binding setups and just be confident with how to play the class, which can take a while.
Macros, that's something I need to look into.
not the place where you go shopping. I mean macros as in yeah.
Oh, right, yeah, the little typey things, yeah.
Typey things.
Yeah, well, the thing is, there'll be some people, like me, that have played the game for a long time still, and maybe don't go as in-depth and stuff like that, and that's why that would put me... Obviously, I do use macros and things like that, but, that's... It's only been the last week.
Yeah, and having a macro just to eat and drink at the same time is hardly revolutionary.
Yeah, it was really annoying me. That's why I'm glad they brought in Mage cookies. That you just do it anyway. Yeah, do one. It doesn't both. It's like, it makes sense.
But it ruins your one and only macro. You had to delete it. You saw Mage cookies and was like, oh no. Yeah. So Resto's good. Resto's solid. Really, really good mana. Sort of conservation, I would say, probably is a better word. You're not going to run out as quick as the other healers if you play it right. The hots are OP. The only downside for me personally as a Resto Druid is the lack of ability to be able to react to big damage. You have to predict the big damage and have the hots out rolling ready before the damage actually comes in. So now your knowledge of a fight plays more of a part than your ability to be able to heal, which might seem like a strange thing to say, but that's just my view. And then Guardian Tank's amazing. Yeah, Guardian Tank, I would take a Guardian Tank over a Warrior. When I'm saying Guardian, I mean, I know that comes in a lot later, but you know what I mean, Feral Bear Tank.
Yeah.
I would take those over a Warrior, personally. Big, chunky meat shields. They've not got quite the toolkit that a Warrior's got. But
easier to play as a tank, isn't it, that, I suppose?
Yeah, easier to play.
Yeah.
Bit boring for me. I don't particularly like Feral Tank, but I don't like any tank. But you think what you bring compared to a Warrior. You bring 5% crit. You improve leader of the pack, so your party are self-healing as well when they crit for 4% max health, which is nice. If you get to use it, you've got the ability to combat res and innovate. Yeah, you've got a lot. There's a lot of reasons to bring you. And again, if you're the off tank, so if you've got a Paladin main tank and then you've got a Feral Druid as your off tank, I mean that's just perfect setup for me personally in tier 4.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Next.
Let's do Hunter.
Hunter. We haven't done Hunter.
No, we've done Warrior, Priest, Rogue, Mage, Druid.
Oh, right, okay. Oh, we should have put Hunter and Mage together, really.
Why? Because they both only press one button.
You only really have to press one, and with the whole TBC macro, it just makes it a lot easier. You literally do just have to press one button. Unless, all right, you might have to bestial wrath now and again, or things like that. But yeah, it's technically a one button spam, and it's brilliant. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, perfect.
It's so good for raids. It's just excellent, brilliant. Obviously the DPS with Beast Mastery now for TBC. Well, you don't even need a lot of gear, do you, to be doing good DPS?
Well, you don't actually need tier gear because Beast Lord is best till tier 5.
Yeah. So you get a lot of your stuff from dungeons. Oh, it's great. I'm torn. I'm really torn between Hunter, Mage, and Lock.
Yeah, I enjoy Hunter. I do. I like the play. I don't like the play style was in the one button spam rotation in raids, but I like the having a pet, being able to just run around and pretty much endlessly grind. It's a great ult for me. I mean, it's not one I'd be bored raiding on one long term. But there is more to it. You are playing it down a bit. You have got a misdirect. A lot of the times the pull-in is even on you. Get the tank in position first, and then get the Hunter misdirecting. Which, if you bring a second button into your rotation, odds are it could go wrong.
Yeah. I'm just trying to find misdirect.
Yeah, you've been using distracting shot and wondering why you die.
Yeah, there is that. If you're going to get a raid leader who's going to ask you to do other stuff than DPS, then yeah, and the traps.
Then you re-roll rogue.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't sign
putting me
up
up
for this.
hunter now with this sort of. But yeah, running quickly, that's always good aspect of the pack. I think hunters are going to be they're going to be classes that you'll see a lot of in raids.
Oh, without a doubt. Well, they're top damage, as simple as that. They hunters closely followed by warlocks in tier 4. That's just the way it's going to be, and the hunter just has to put in such little effort to achieve that as well. And when I say little effort, I don't mean little effort rotation wise. I mean gearing wise as well.
Yeah.
The warlock's got to make sure he's raiding 25 man to be able to get all this loot, and then a hunter just needs to go and get a weapon from a raid, and then 4-piece beast lord, a couple of trinkets from dungeons as well. To be fair,
and
you're sorted.
It's beautiful. Yeah, very especially if you haven't got much time to play on a character, then that's a good one to choose.
That's a really good point. Yeah, so for people who are limited on time but they want to raid. You're talking about a class now that's very, very easy to farm consumables and whatever else on that you need for raids. Not really need to invest a great amount of time into running heroics. You can more or less just do dungeons and then go straight into raiding. That's a good point, that.
Yeah. Brilliant. Okay, well that's the hunter, isn't it?
Yeah. So we still have Shaman. Not done Shaman.
Shaman. Yeah, the old chamois. Shamadama ding dong. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what I'm going to say about them.
Well, obviously, I've just level 1, so.
Yes, you have. Yeah. Well, tell us. What do you think then?
They're rubbish. So right now, let's move on to. No, they're good. Obviously, they're going to be, well sought after because they bring heroism and they bring ridiculous totems. So people are going to want them. Not for me. As I say, I'm a selfish DPSer. I don't want to be worrying about putting totems down, making sure everyone else is out damaging me. I'd rather just focus on my own. But overall really good. Elemental obviously does ridiculous numbers with no gear. Does literally you just not even bother with a dungeon as a shaman. I don't see the point. You might as well just get attuned and go Karazhan, because you'll seriously keep up with everybody else with no gear. They're nearly hit capped from talents, especially as a Draenei as well.
That's a biggie, isn't it?
It's massive.
You just stack crit then. I mean, that's massive. Just being able to, yeah. Oh man.
I think they need less than 60 hit rating from gear to be hit capped. It's like, it might even be closer to 50. It's ludicrous. Elemental's good. Enhancement's good. One of the higher melee DPS, to be fair. They'll out damage rogues. That's not difficult. They can do. They're good. Enhancement good, and they bring a lot. They bring a lot more than a rogue. Well, they bring. They only have to bring one thing. So they do. 10% attack power for their party. Totems. Just good. A good melee DPS. Fun to play as well, actually. But as
easy or hard? Is there a lot to do?
I would say easy. And when you think about the fact that you can get a 5-second interrupt as well, that's the only downside to being on interrupt duty as a. Don't get me wrong, you probably won't see many enhancement shamans with the improved shocks, because they'll probably go resto so they can totem twist. But that's a different video completely. If you did go that route, you're gonna have a 5-second interrupt. That's mental. And the downside for elemental doing that is the shock range is different to the lightning bolt range. So if you're stood at max range as an elemental shaman, you can't interrupt.
Right. Yeah.
And as resto, sick healers, we know we've seen them. They heal. Let's face it. As long as your raid don't die, like I said about the priest, you're better off taking a shaman. Because you take a shaman and you get heroism and you get totems. You take a priest, all you get is healing. So a bit of a no-brainer, really.
Yeah. So
your thoughts on them?
You what? Say that again.
Your thoughts on them? Obviously, I know you've not really been playing a shaman, but you've seen plenty of them in raids and whatnot.
Yeah, yeah, it's something that does. I will be leveling one without a doubt. Yeah, just to find out more about them, obviously. But they look. It looks like my sort of thing. Apart from when you start getting to the totems, because it looks like yeah, you can do good damage. You don't have to be geared particularly. You're pressing lightning bolt, or I'm talking about obviously elemental. Lightning bolt, and even better if I can chain lightning and do some damage that way as well. Obviously, it's going to pump your DPS meter up.
Oh, pump big.
Yeah, pumping.
Big pumpage.
But yeah, it's the totem things that actually puts me off. It's putting the totems down because I think you're gonna have to have a totem for every situation. That's another button.
Yeah, and you can't be bothered, can you?
I can't be bothered. I can't. I really can't. As much as I want one.
I get the You'll see when I'm streaming. I'll be sat there on on nuking on the feral, and someone will go, "Oh, flip, innovate," and I'm like, "Oh, for fuck." Like, just, do you know what I mean? Like, just sort yourself out. Well, you don't start putting your mana problems on me.
Yeah, if you want to innovate, go and roll a druid, mate.
Yeah, then you get the innovate ability, exactly. Don't start making your poor usage of mana pots my issue.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, now I've got to shapeshift out, I've got to make sure they're in range, got to press that button, got to run back to the boss, because they're not going to be a melee, not going to have a rogue asking for innovate unless his name's Caboose. Most people are it's going to be a mana user that wants it, isn't it? So you're going to have to run out of range, because they don't think, oh, hang on, I've got no mana, so I can't do any damage, I'll move into melee, which is the thing that makes sense. They call for an innovate and expect you to chase around after them and do it. It's like, no, mate, you stand there and do nothing, or you move to me and I'll innovate you.
Yeah. Luckily, there's a lot of people that play the game that aren't quite as selfish and quite as, that they are wanting a bit more of a challenging experience. And I'm glad for that. Otherwise, raids would be, well, probably non-existent.
Yeah, raids wouldn't happen. Because healers would be going home and everyone's like, we don't care.
Yeah. So, good stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, all in all, good. Yeah, good place, Shaman, from my perspective.
Yeah. I'll know more soon, but yeah, they look good. They look fun. Looks relatively straightforward, but yeah, I'll see. I'm not a great fan of it. Actually, with the totems, can you not just press one button? It puts one of each down, or do you have to press it four? Would I have to?
You have to like macro press it 4 times. Yeah, it's exhausting.
Would that require one of those macro things?
One of those macro things. Yeah, the things where you put. Yep. Yeah, I need one of those. I know, that's what I mean. Just don't play it. It's not for you.
Forget it. Right, go on. Pick next. What's an easier class?
Next, have we done Warlock?
Yeah, we done Warlock. Didn't take long.
I was going to say it couldn't have took long. I don't remember even talking about it. Is that it? Paladin.
Oh, Paladin.
We haven't spoken about Paladin.
Yeah, Paladin. Shall we just talk about tanking and holy? Really? I mean, obviously,
well, they've only got 2 specs, haven't they?
Well, someone keeps talking about a Retardin spec or
no retards.
Retardin spec and stuff like that. I suppose it must get better in TBC at some point.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
Certainly at the beginning.
I've never actually seen one that can play, but
yeah, it's strange. We've been playing on this server for a long time now. I've not seen one.
I've not been grouped with one. It's because the people who play on private servers are smart.
Ah, right. Okay.
I think that's the difference.
All right.
I mean, Ret is better than it was at the end of the day. It's in a better place. I mean, even towards the end of Classic, Ret starts getting good. But when I say good, I mean playable is probably the best way to put it. But they're less of a joke. They're less of a joke in TBC. They bring 3% crit for everyone, which is nice. They bring blessings, but so do holy paladins and prot paladins. They bring auras, but so do prot paladins and holy paladins. I retract everything I just said. Let's just talk about prot paladins and holy paladins.
Yeah. Prot obviously from Classic to TBC went to literally God mode, didn't it? Overnight, really.
100%.
With their AOE tank. I mean, don't get me wrong, they could AOE tank, I suppose, dungeons and things like that. But with having a taunt, because they had no taunt, now they've got one that I think it taunts 3 targets at the same time, don't it?
Yeah, it's arguably a better taunt. So it's a longer cooldown than normal taunt by a few seconds. But yeah, taunt's free. You need a macro, one of those things that we keep talking about, to use it effectively.
Yeah.
But
Well,
it's still good.
yeah. Good tanks, good viable tanks now.
Mhm.
I think out of any, well, we'll do that after. But Holy, I mean, obviously, as ease of playing, if you wanted to tank, I would say they're a relatively easy class to play as a tank, aren't they?
Oh yeah, I'd say it's not a difficult tank, at all, because you don't really have to fight for threat on multi mobs. And let's face it, as a tank, I'd say the most difficult part is when there's more than one mob. So on a Paladin, when you don't really change what you're actually doing, I wouldn't say. I'm sure there's going to be prop Paladins kicking off like, no, I have to press tab. But, in all seriousness, it's not that much different that you would do. You use Consecrate on single target. You use Consecrate on AoE. All right, you might try and stack Seal of Vengeance on a few mobs rather than just the one, but it doesn't change a great deal of what you're doing.
Yeah. Okay. So...
What about Holy? I mean, Holy's in a good place.
Are they still spamming Flash of Light?
No. They should really be fake casting Holy Light now, and just cancel cast towards the end if their target's been topped off. Flash of Light's a bit weak. I suppose you can get away with just. I've seen plenty of half decent Holy Paladins mainly using Flash of Light, but it heals a bit like a wet fish in TBC.
Oh, right, okay.
You'll never run out of mana. So yeah, for dungeons and that, you probably get away with just spamming Flash of Light, but Holy Light is definitely the way to go.
Right. So they went from a quick hill doing loads of little hills to now doing just one big hill.
Yeah, less often but bigger hills. But you'll probably they'll have like 3 or 4 different ranks of it, to use for different situations.
Yeah. If they needed a bigger hill,
higher rank,
topping people up. Okay, all right.
So overall, Paladins are in a good place, and we diss Ret, but Ret's decent. There's nothing wrong with Ret.
I got nothing.
No, me neither.
Probably not.
No, I'm sure a decent Ret could make it work somehow. Maybe by just going with rogues.
Yeah.
If you want to top the damage meter as a Ret, just take rogues.
Yeah, and you can always get away, just bubble her. So it's always in all fairness, that is annoying, isn't it? When you're out and you are fighting against a paladin, you just know that he's going to bubble. It's so annoying.
Yeah, no, it is. It is annoying. Right, anyway, all right. So if you're confident we done Warlock, because I honestly don't remember doing it, but if you're confident we done it,
yeah, pretty confident. If we didn't, then pretty much like a mage, but a little bit more to do.
Cool. So I believe we've covered all classes. So a little bit of a roundup. Let's do it. Let's say you can pick. So you can pick 1 tank, 1 healer, and 2 DPS. So to recommend to these good people watching, if you're the lazy one, so you're the one who wants an easy ride in Rage. You don't want to do a lot. You want to just turn up and get gear. You're not really bothered about that.
Concentrating on the raid. I don't want to have to concentrate on my spec or on my abilities. I want to be concentrated solely just on the. I'm just like just in the raid. Do you know what I mean? That's why I like easy.
So right.
It's not because I want to sit there drinking beer. It's nothing to do with that.
All right.
I want to be focused, yeah? So
right.
Is that what we're going from?
Yeah. So you want something easy to get loot on, and I want something challenging and fun.
Yeah. Right.
So go on. One tank. You got to pick a tank, you got to pick a healer, and 2 DPS specs. What would you recommend?
Tank, I would go Paladin. I'd go Paladin tank. Because there's stick Righteous Fury on, go in there, hit some stuff. It's not like a warrior, is it, where you got everything? But anyway, we don't need to go into that. So I would go Paladin tank because I think that would be the easiest, the laziest. Yeah, the laziest boy spec.
I would say I would agree. So go on.
A healer.
Healer.
Well, on the basis that we've just gone from Flash of Light to just Holy Light, I think I'd probably go Paladin for a healer.
All right. So you're going to be a Paladin tank. Well, that's nice. At least you can do two of the roles with just the one character. So maybe Paladin in TBCs for you. Is Rhett going to be your number one DPS?
Funny you should say that. No. But yeah, I mean that's a real big boost, isn't it, to say for a Paladin, people that are a bit like me that don't want to have to think about all the buttons to press. You'd rather just focus on what you're doing. That's a big plus to say that tanking and healing is, let's face it, it's the majority of the part of a raid. DPS is DPS. Don't get me wrong, good DPS is good, but without good tanks and healers, mainly you foul.
Yeah, definitely. And tanks and healers are always the hardest to find. So
yeah, inevitably. So yeah, they must be in a very good place, a Paladin.
So two DPS.
Hunter, 2 DPS. So I'll go Hunter, and Mage.
And is your whole rationale there that they're both really easy to play?
There's that they can. What I want out of a DPS, I want to be able to compete for top spot, and I want to do it as easy as possible.
Yeah.
That's my rationale. That's how I look at it. The fun thing I have fun in a raid. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't necessarily have to be whatever class. I have fun in raids. I like raiding. So, from my perspective, it's let's get some loot easily, and at least have my name at the top.
Yeah. Well, that's fair. That's there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. That's just my personality, isn't it?
All right. So let's wrap this up. It's dragging on. So I'm going to tank. I would go with a mage. Just purely to tank High King Mulgar, because that's about the majority of tanking that I could physically handle. I couldn't tank a full raid, but I could log on a mage, spell steal a shield, and spam fireball quite happily. But no, in all seriousness, I hate tanking. But if I had to pick a tank, it would be a Paladin as well. Just because there's more to a Paladin than just tanking. That's the thing. You can dispel, you can put hand of protection or blessing of protection and all stuff like that on people. There's a lot you can do other than just making sure you got aggro.
Yeah, I didn't think about all those things.
Yeah,
as well.
You didn't know.
Put me off.
It's put you off a bit, isn't it? You're going to go feral now.
Put me off. But anyway, you should have maybe went first. So anyway, okay, so that's that. What about healing?
Holy Priest, I don't even need to think about it. Yeah, I mean, from a fun perspective, Holy Priest, you can put good numbers out, not have mana problems. You don't bring as much as a Resto Shaman, so, I may be possibly jeopardising a raid spot by going Holy Priest over Resto Shaman here and there, but I think a good Holy Priest is invaluable to the raid because someone's got to bring improved Divine Spirit, so as long as I'm that person, then Holy Priest.
Okay, all right. Well, your DPS is going to be interesting.
So DPS, I would definitely go Rogue and Rep Paladin.
Rogue and Rep. That's what I was thinking you was going to say.
Yeah, right. We'll cut that and we'll go back. So I would do. We're not really cutting. That's staying in. I would go Feral DPS as number one, obviously, because it's challenging, it's rewarding, it's fun, it shows true skill and epicness of the player. And all, all that sort of thing. I would go Feral. I love Feral. Always have, always will. So obviously going to be my number one choice. Second DPS. I've been dissing them a lot tonight, but I want to say Rogue as second.
Yeah, Rogue.
Yeah, like in all seriousness, I like Rogue because Rogue's very Feral-like. It's a lot more simple. But it's still ultimately a fun class. I do like what they get, and I like leveling them. I like just being out in the world grinding on them because you just see someone and I don't mean grinding on them.
That sounds good.
But just out,
That's weird.
Just out and about. No, I'm not cutting that.
Yeah.
Out and about, and you just see someone and then you just stealth and just start grinding on them. Yeah, exactly. So no, I'd like to say Rogue, but a close third would be Shadow Priest. But ultimately, I would say Feral and then Rogue.
Yeah. No, so after all the Rogue hating, I know. We both like Rogue. They're a fun class to play.
Oh,
It's just unfortunate. Yeah, there's a most rogues would agree with that anyway, wouldn't they? They'd say, yeah, well, we don't bring a great deal, apart from the DPS.
Yeah, exactly, and that's
what we got.
unfortunately what it is. You work with what you got. That's it. But we'll leave it there anyway. Thanks. That was hopefully educational to some people and mildly amusing. That is the aim. We want you to get information, but also enjoy it. And you got to remember, these are only our opinions. At the end of the day, you might play. Yeah, isn't it? They might play a Ret Paladin and go, "Oh, this is the most fun thing I've ever played." Fair enough.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
But we have been playing every class. Between us, we've been playing every class on TBC now for quite a while. So we just thought we'd share some knowledge with you.
Yeah. And so, what about the next series of videos with regards to you mentioning that?
Yeah. So we're gonna start doing profession videos. We wanted to start tonight, but after we've had to record this for the 17th time because I keep saying stuff wrong, that might wait till tomorrow. We'll see. But yeah, tomorrow definitely there'll be a video coming out for the first one. So we're going to start looking into the professions in TBC. So what's the best professions, level working, but you're going to get a second one that you're going to be able to use. So we're going to look at what you can get from them, what the benefits are, not just to yourself, but maybe your guildies and stuff like that. But we're also going to drop in a giveaway. So once we've looked at every profession and all the gathering professions, there's going to be a giveaway for everybody who gets questions right during each video. So in each video, we will drop a line from a film or a movie, depending on where you're from, into the video. So, but it will be subtle. It won't be, like, oh, all right, Stu, I am your father. Because that's a bit obvious. Yeah. It will be more subtle. It will be like,
all right, Scott, I am your father.
Yeah, that could work. I was thinking more like, have you seen? Did you see Dorothy when we killed Wizard of Oz in Karazhan the other day? These shoes, these shoes that I got from Dorothy, the boots that dropped.
Yeah. I saw what you was doing there.
Yeah, these shoes. So that's good, fellas. Yeah, so it's going to be subtle.
Fellas, yes.
These shoes, yeah, so it's gonna be subtle and it's just gonna be dropped in. But in the comments, if you say what film it's from, you're instantly entered into a giveaway. It's only a month's game time, but still, I can't imagine there's gonna be that many people in the draw. So, should be good. But that's it from me. So thanks very much, Stu.
Yep, thank you. Been a pleasure.
Make sure you like, subscribe, and check out all the other videos on the channel and obviously the upcoming professions videos, which are going to be some fun. Peace.
Yes. Bye.